up, people? Welcome back to my channel. We're going to be checking out Becky Lynch on WWE Needs Competition. And let me explain something before we get into this video. I've been saying this for quite some time that WWE really needs competition because right now it's at its all-time low. And you wanna know why a lot of people stop watching wrestling altogether. Like, I stopped watching wrestling on TV. The only time I do wrestling videos is when I do articles or maybe react to clips from SmackDown. But apparently, as of right now, AEW, Raw, or SmackDown, like any other wrestling companies, like I just stopped watching shows altogether because it's not like what it used to be, and it would never be better. It's gonna always suck, but it's just not what I imagined it to be this terrible. So, hey, that's why WWE sucks. Before we get into this video once again, the reason why this company is so terrible because you bring in rosters from NXT and you just water them down and then you fire them unless they request for their release. And whose fault was it? I just want to know whose fault was it to bring them to the main roster and you turn them into something that we can never take seriously. And Big E as world champion right now, I can't take him seriously because he keeps on gyrating and dancing all gayish in the ring. Like, bro, I can't take champions like that seriously. Roman Reigns, on the other hand, I could take him as champion very seriously because of his promo, because of his heel persona. I'd rather take him seriously than I do with Big E. Just saying, let's hop into the video.
I've said on this program, and we just have a few minutes left. Thank you so much for the time. This is awesome. Pro wrestling is on fire right now.
Yeah.
It is very interesting. Dare I say, it has been this interesting in 2 decades. I wish MMA was this interesting in some respect.
I kind of disagree with him. Wrestling right now is not interesting because everything is just too PG-ish. Everything is just too childish. And wrestling is it's not good. The creatives suck, the storylines suck, and the matches are just boring as ever. And it's worse than MMA.
Competition, rising tide lifts all boats.
Yes.
There was a scene just a couple weeks ago. I'm sitting there on a Friday night and I'm watching you and I'm watching CM Punk at the same time. And it's happening this is like Monday Night Wars, but it was on a Friday. It's fantastic for the fans, right?
Yeah.
How in tune are you with what's going on?
Oh, I watch everything.
Everything.
I watch everything, yeah.
Do you subscribe to that notion? This is good. Competition is good.
Competition's great. Competition is great. Yeah, and it's great for the creative because I think it drives everybody. I think Vince works incredibly well when he's pushed by competition.
Doesn't. If he truly is working hard when it comes to competition, why can't he just turn back the TV14 route and maybe just listen to the fans for once in this miserable old life? Give the fans what they want, be better at your writing, and bring back the blood. What happened to Chris Benoit years ago should not affect your product right now. Don't even worry about, what the tabloids think, what the media says, what the tabloids says. What I care about is making my product good if I were Vince McMahon's shoes. Like, change something. Hire new writers, hire better creative. And just be WWE good again. But it just seems like it ain't working that way. As long as Vince McMahon is still around, the WWE will never improve. Because outside of WWE, there are a lot of stories and crazy situations going on behind the scenes. Former employees of the WWE outside of the wrestling company that are doing better things than they did in the WWE, which they barely ever do. And as far as like Vince McMahon being a genius when it comes to competition. As of right now, he is not a genius because he's continuing to mess up this company even more.
I think for the stars, it gives options. If you don't like vanilla, you can go with chocolate. If you don't like, strawberry, you go with butterscotch, So there's options for everyone, for fans, for wrestlers, and yeah, it's great.
Do you consider them competition, AEW?
I consider them an alternative.
Okay.
I think that's the best way to put it. I consider them the alternative. They're just different. Their product is different than our product, and so we offer a different product than they do.
WWE's product is 10 times better than WWE's product because the difference between AEW and WWE is that AEW is not PG, unlike y'all's product. Y'all's product are just straight up PG, and I can't take wrestling shows seriously when it's PG. Like, be more edgy, you curse, you swear a lot, but like, I want that extra flavor. I want something good. Like, be creative. Like, be different, AEW is basically doing everything the WWE is lacking of doing. Blood, swearing, tears, good moments, and good writing. And plus, they're allowing the wrestlers to create their own promos and storylines, which is something that Vince McMahon is not letting his employees at the WWE doing. And that's saying something.
You're up to speed with what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's important to know.
Of course.
And
I think it's important, and if you love this,
right,
because then you know what people are doing, what people are not doing, and so it's one of those things where we're all wrestlers, we all love the sport, and so sometimes we can come up with the same ideas at the same time, and so it's important to know, well, is somebody doing this, is somebody doing that, how do I be different in this giant sea of content, because there is a lot of wrestling on TV right now.
Sure. You feel like there's too much?
I don't think there's ever too much. Like, you don't say, well, there's too many police shows or whatever, You just, if you like a police show, then you watch some police shows, and you love when...
I mean, there are far better wrestling companies to watch on TV than the WWE. Unless you watch SmackDown, of course. I mean, SmackDown is an A show. Even sometimes that show is worse than Raw when it comes to PG moments. With AEW, on the other hand, that used to be a company that I can take seriously. And when I first watched AEW, I fell in love with the product. It was like, Monday Nitro being reborn, done right in 2019. And even in the pandemic, AEW was still a good show despite no crowd was there, and then using their employees and their backup wrestlers as crowd for like different reactions. But if you look at AEW now, when the crowd came back, everything just went back to normal. And even though I am happy that WWE is having crowds again, especially at WrestleMania and in SummerSlam 2021, but if you look at, WrestleMania's videos, you will know WWE is still not trying to be good like they used to, because you barely have some crowds there, but it's just not how it used to be before the pandemic started. Not to mention, there are a lot of good wrestling products out there that are way better than WWE. I'm just saying.
Show, or whatever it is.
Right.
So I think if you love it, then you tune in. I think, though, it can desensitize you to what good wrestling is, because we see so much, and so there's so much good wrestlers out there. So you can have a 5-star.
I agree with what you said. When you watch the product, you're invested into the show. Like, you want more good quality content with good wrestlers. There are good wrestlers out there. It's just the creative team that is not allowing them to be creative and showcase their skill. You see, when it comes to Vince McMahon, he doesn't like nobody who is, getting back to what I was saying before I was interrupted. What I was trying to say is that Vince McMahon, he doesn't like nobody who is talented. He likes people with big muscles who is 6 foot, 7 foot tall, with no wrestling skills whatsoever. Models with no wrestling skills. You look at Eva Marie when they released Mickie James, who brought back Eva Marie because, of course, her looks. And yet somehow they keep bringing back people with no talent, and that needs to stop. That's why WWE sucks. It's at its all-time low because you don't believe in talent. You believe in looks, you believe in personalities, but you don't believe in talent. I mean, going back to what she said before, there are good wrestling shows and there are good wrestlers on there. But like I said, when it comes to the bad booking and the bad decisions in the bookings that are not allowing talents to be themselves. Come on, like I'm trying to say facts here.
Raw that gets lost by Tuesday, you know, because there's so much good wrestling on TV.
Alright, look, what is the biggest thing I learned from this video is that even though she doesn't believe that it's competition, she does think that their products are different than AEW's, which is fine, but I kind of disagree. My opinion on this is that the AEW's products is TV 14 and it's being taken very seriously. And they have a lot of good stars on the roster, and they have some good, interesting storylines. They're allowing the wrestlers to be creative when it comes to cutting promos, and there are a lot of blood and just a lot of good things about AEW has to offer. You just need to watch their stuff a lot more in order to understand the product a bit better. Now, as far as WWE goes, it used to be good back in the day when the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era, and somewhat of the PG era, somewhat of the Reality Era, and some of this current era you have right now, even though it is still part of the PG era. You barely have anything good about the PG product, except it's not. So I think the biggest thing I learned from watching this video is that both companies are different. Everybody likes something. Everybody likes this product, this company, and that company. You are allowed to like what you like. But at the same time, you are allowed to express your opinion, just like I'm doing now. My opinion is AEW is a better company than the WWE. Same thing can be said for TNA. With TNA used to be good back in the day, and now everything just went down the tubes. The crowd is more deader than before. Product is just not what it used to be. It's at its all-time worst. Because if you watch TNA right now, you will know how terrible that company is. So I need y'all to comment down below, which wrestling promotion do you like? WWE, AEW, TNA, or Ring of Honor? And do you agree with Becky Lynch said in the video, or do you agree with my personal opinions? A different perspective on some of the things they say and she said. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll holler at you on my next video.